Yeah, right from an early age, I always loved to draw, all throughout from when I was 7 until I was in high school, I constantly was creating these comic books and these little zines that I'd self-produce. When I'm trying to articulate the sort of superhero that I was into, dark heroes, they were people who wrestled with a real darkness, and yet they chose to rise above that darkness and do good regardless of whether even that darkness was inherent to who they were. From seeing my first graffiti piece on a train or whatever, something really just jumped out at me, and that was what I wanted to do with my art, And, well, about 20 or 21, I sort of had an epiphany when I started when I got my first tattoo as well. And a lot of the things that graffiti spoke to me about, tattooing spoke to me as well. For the first time in my life, I saw that, I could actually make money and make a career off of being an artist, And it was so wild and so freeing for me to experience that, And so I really dived headlong into becoming a tattoo artist. You have to serve kind of a period of time. It's called an apprenticeship, which basically means you work for free. You do all the dirty dirty jobs. You get the coffee or whatever. So I remember working 3 jobs and then spending 6 hours in a tattoo shop, every day, mopping floors and getting coffee for the artists and all of that stuff, until finally, the machine was first put into my hand. And from there, I was really proud to be able to sort of develop my own clientele. Like, I'm such a big fan of wild colors, and combining those colors in a way that's just like, it isn't ugly, yeah, but it's striking, and that's still a balance that I gotta find. I'm tattooing, I'm creating something that's very personal for the person, who is receiving the art. I remember when, we first started even conceptualizing the idea of spray painting, or the first time we painted together, going behind the church down there on Quebec and Dundas, and going back there, and it was pretty fun, we'd go out, and the cops, not knowing who we are, they'd swoop down on us, because usually we were in some seedy part of London or whatever, and yeah. Like, I kind of almost wish we still had that original Jesus piece that we did. I think I had pictures of it somewhere anyways, but it was so rough, and we were just using like bargain basement spray paint. We didn't know anything about tips or anything like that. That came a bit later, and out there painting in the rain or whatever, and that first piece that we created on the back of Open Door, that Jesus piece. It was so rough, but we were so proud of it. And I think at least twice we got stopped by the police behind that building because of the fact that it was it's a popular spot for the Johns to take their prostitutes, or for people to go and shoot up in their cars, We were back there spray painting, so right away the cops zoomed in on us and came over, and generally it was arrest first and ask questions later, And then all of a sudden these 2 police officers just brushed us from either ends of the alleys, grabbed us, threw us up against the cars or whatever, and I personally was just freaking right out. I do love that, going out and creating a piece that's, 6 feet high or whatever, and having that, the idea that, hundreds or even thousands of people could be experiencing your artwork. I mean, in a way, those 2 have dovetailed, and in a way, those 2 have allowed me as well to express different aspects of my artistic nature. My parents, as good Pentecostal Christian people, were always very, very troubled by my artwork, because I always, there was always a lot of, always a lot of darkness in my work, and that's been prevalent ever since the beginning. And I think that was part of why I never really thought that I could do anything with my work, because it just wasn't anything that anybody really approved of around me. If anything, my art was something, that I was was an object of shame and derision for me. Like I remember many times, my father being like, what is this you've created? This is demonic, this is evil, and destroying my artwork. So it was something that I really almost kept underground, to talk about the darkness and the struggle inside of yourself. I definitely, I've borne that out in my life as well, and that whether I'm actually struggling or I'm just allowing the darkness to pull me under. But on one hand, I just like people to enjoy it on maybe a visceral level, like to see something and it just cause like some kind of emotion or feeling in them anyways. If I've done that, I think I've done a good job. But one thing that is definitely prevalent to my artwork, I think, is that struggle and that rising, and that grasping towards freedom, towards light, that we don't want to stay chained or in the darkness, that regardless of where you are, that there is something better and something higher that you can reach towards. A lot of my characters are going to war, or in some kind of struggle, and that's, I guess that does, really to get in deeply to it, it does, my life has been a struggle. I've been struggling since I was at least 12 years old to just eat for security, I haven't always won that struggle. I've got a lot of failure in my life as well, but it's that process of trying. As long as you're able to get up and to give it another try, I think that's what it's all about. And Lord knows, especially as I'm getting older, sometimes you just feel like, I don't have it in me to fight anymore, I'm tired. I just want to give in. I just want to lay down, I don't have it. And, those are the first moments I feel like, like when you actually can feel death closing in, is when you stop struggling, is when you feel like just laying down and feel like giving up, So yeah, that's something that I think I really do explore. If you look at my art, it's really all about that higher pursuit. It's all about forging forward and creating something new. Through struggle, through adversity, through to try and experience that triumph, that victory. It may not always happen, but it's all about the journey, right? So. Yeah.